And we haven't even like mentioned, like we've been talking about sort of like alien disclosure and all this stuff, but like the Diddy stuff is still just warming up. And like speaking of Hollywood on fire, like Hollywood is about to burn fucking down if what's his name? The lawyer from Texas, Bugsby, I think, Tony Bugsby, that's got this 120 clients that are all accusing Diddy, and then Jay-Z got accused at the end of last year. Like that is gonna absolutely obliterate Hollywood if that stuff starts coming out, and people are talking like it is going to come out.
What do you think about the Jay-Z thing? Because we kind of got into that briefly on Broken Simulation, and he had a really strong rebuttal. Like he came out,
yeah, he came out
strongly as
swinging
we've
in his
seen
rebuttal.
Yeah.
But like he's a fucking liar.
Yeah.
So Jay-Z was in Biggie's shadow back in the Biggie Tupac era. Jay-Z was like Biggie's wingman. He was just this kid. And the moment Biggie got shot, Jay-Z and Diddy rose to fame and took over the whole industry. And so when you look at Tupac and Biggie and Diddy's involvement in both of their deaths, allegedly, and then Jay-Z and Diddy, they've been best friends ever since. Like they have been tight as fuck. They've been on all their songs. They've been hanging out at parties. They're always talk like you can just follow their train back. And so you're trying to tell like, and I'm not saying you, I mean like the world, like, come on, you're trying to tell me that like your best friend is holding these freak offs and you have nothing to do with it. Like, and then there's victims coming out and accusing you of having been there. And so his rebuttal to me read as just pure propaganda and lies. And I like the rumors on the street have all along been that Jay-Z is every bit as bad as Diddy, if not worse. Also that Beyonce is not good either, that she's involved in some way or other, as well as many, many others. So
she'd have to be complicit.
Exactly.
Things that he's done.
Well, this gets into when a predator meets you when you're 15 years old. Like what, how much say do you have in anything?
It's a good point because I always forget that he met Beyonce when she was 15.
And that's going to be her reasoning to getting out. I was young. I was 15. I didn't know.
Women will accept that because you already see with this Joy Taylor and Fox Sports 1, everyone's running to Joy Taylor's defense when she literally got caught saying she was going to Me Too a guy if he gave her any shit. Even though she openly was, she basically had sex with him to move up the corporate ladder, and now she's going to say it's Me Too, and everyone will get behind. We just have these paradigms in which we think of, and we can't come to grips with that because we transfer our views of our mothers, our grandmothers, our sisters, and our daughters onto these women that we don't know. That's Hillary's whole game. Hey, Hillary's my grandma. Hillary's my mom. My mom wouldn't kill all of her bodyguards. My mom wouldn't run a giant child sex trafficking ring through her charity events. No way. My mom wouldn't do that. Why would Hillary do that? And it's just, that is the paradigms in which we think men are predators, women are prey. And
I think if Jeffrey Epstein wouldn't have killed himself, Ghislaine would be out right now. If Jeffrey Epstein wouldn't have killed himself, he wouldn't have got to court. I really think Ghislaine would just been like, he manipulated me too. But since he killed himself and they had to take someone down, who knows if she's in jail?
You're probably right about that. And
I
when we're
do
talking
think
about Jeffrey Epstein, it's important to point out that Jeffrey Epstein's entire operation was only made possible because of all of the women that were recruiting and creating the space within which the girls could get brought in and sort of manipulated into being like, okay, this is sort of normal. And the same is true in Diddy's circle. Like I assume that's the role that Beyonce is playing with Jay-Z, and I'm just making that up. There's no evidence for that. I'm just,
we're fine with that in the show.
But yeah, it's always like women that were victims as children. Not all of them. A lot of them turn out okay, heal, and move on, but some of them turn into abusers themselves. And that power, it's more often about power than about sexual gratification. But like women do that shit too. And Jeffrey Epstein's network is the perfect example of how without the women that do it helping, the whole thing falls apart because the women are like the bread, the glue that ties it all together and that bring the victims in and that sort of like make it all, because you would never think that a woman would be doing that kind of shit. And so when you're 14 and this woman is like, oh, it's totally fine, come give him a massage, it's totally normal, no problem, that totally changes the game.
No, that's what messed him up. That 14-year-old would go get other 14-year-olds, and then finally, why does
But it's
one
not even
14-year-old
like
have
that.
$500?
It's not even like Oprah. Like
Yeah.
Oprah is
Oprah's
just
dark.
full on best friends with every one of these people that have
Yeah.
been accused of unholy shit. Like every school she opens is just riddled with scandals of pedophilia left and right. And there's only so much, denying you can do, plausibility, before you start going, once, twice, maybe, but
No.
every time, all the time.
Dude, I didn't even know how bad Oprah was until I was doing a presentation and I'd like promised a presentation about Hollywood and that like figured Oprah is on the list. And I started looking into it and just like, fuck, John of God, like, and then you meet a Marina Abramovich, and then it just like goes on and on and on and on in her school. And I had no idea how much Oprah had been into. I just knew it was kind of a meme, so I assumed there was dirt there. It goes deep. It's dark. John of God,
It goes
a whole
super
rabbit
deep.
hole.
What is that one guy who ran a record label? Gotti?
John Gotti.
He has that famous like picture where like Tom Hanks and Oprah are there on his boat.
Yeah.
The guy who ran the record label Gotti, whatever.
Are you
his
talking
name
about
is.
Geffen? Are you talking about
Gotti's
Geffen?
the
Geffen,
Geffen,
bang.
yeah.
Now Geffen,
David Geffen.
there's David Geffen. There's all this crazy stuff where he would just like do tours of campuses trying to find like the latest talent, and some twink would just come up dead all the time. Just a traveling murder circus.
He's like
Allegedly.
openly gay, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah.
But
David Geffen.
he's like a like predatorial, like
Oh no,
like,
I'm not saying. But I was trying to remember if he was gay. I think he is.
like
Yeah.
there are people putting him like having deep connections to the smiley face killer.
And then he
Like-
co-founded Asylum Records, is what he decided
Yeah.
to call it. Nice, bro.
And
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
just-
the whole music industry is like deeply mob linked from the founding, like from the outset. The whole music industry is laundering mob money and using the mob as its muscle to sort of control the game. And to this day, you look at the music industry and it has all the hallmarks of still being the exact same operation as it was 40, 50 years ago.
But the funniest thing, Ian, is the sales pitch that Hollywood did to convince us it was the Italian mob that was
Yeah.
running everything, when in reality it was the Jewish mob that was in everything that let the Italian mob take all the heat from the FBI.